This occasion is also an opportunity for the university, pardon me, to recognize an exemplary leader who today will become an honorary member of today's graduating class. This honor recognizes persons who have made an exceptional contribution to society, in this case, the profession of civil engineering. To such individuals, we grant the university's highest distinction, awarding today the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree. To escort the candidate and to present the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree, I am pleased to invite to the podium President Benton, Dean and Professor of Management Linda Livingstone, Associate Dean of Fully Employed and Executive Programs Gary Magnifico, Practitioner Faculty of Organization Theory and Management. Please welcome these to the podium.
President Benton, today it is my honor to present a businessman noted for his vision, his leadership, and his ability to build bridges. And I mean that quite literally, in addition to building all types of civil infrastructure. Richard G. Newman is current board chair, former CEO, and former president of AECOM, a worldwide Fortune 500 company providing professional, technical, and management support in all aspects of infrastructure, from rail systems, bridges, and highways to building ports and facilities, and to energy and water applications. AECOM employs 45,000 people globally, including architects, engineers, designers, planners, scientists, and management and construction services professionals. Mr. Newman led the employee purchase of AECOM from parent Ashland Corporation, and over his remarkable 21-year tenure took the company through a period of sustained growth and diversification into the $8.5 billion enterprise that it is today. Mr. Newman's expertise is widely coveted, and he currently sits on the Board of Capital Research and Management and on the Investment Committee of the Metro Los Angeles YMCA. He himself is an engineer by profession and is a member of the National Society of Engineers, the Institute for the Advancement of Engineering, and the American Society of Civil Engineers. The recipient of many awards, he was named Leader of the Year by the Southern California Leadership Network and received the Lifetime Achievement Award from Southern California Construction Industries, among many others. Mr. Newman is recognized in the broader community, serving currently on the board of the Boy Scouts Western Council, our own Graziadio School Board of Visitors, and he has given his time and expertise to the California Science Center, the American Red Cross, and the Los Angeles Junior Philharmonic. President Benton, it is truly my honor and privilege to present Richard G. Newman for the university's preeminent distinction, the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree.
Richard G. Newman, because of your leadership and your career achievements, which have marshaled and inspired talented men and women to create systems and structures of great utility and benefit to cities and to the societies within them. Because of your generosity of spirit demonstrated in a life of service to community and to causes larger than yourself, giving freely of your time, intellect, and fortune. Because of your devotion to your wife, Chris, and your loving faithfulness and support of your family, and because the example of your life, a life dedicated to excellence in livelihood, to integrity in personal relationships, and to compassion for neighbors, is an inspiration to us all, especially our students and our graduates today. Therefore, by the power vested in me by the Pepperdine University Board of Regents, I now confer upon you the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree with all the rights, all the duties, and all the privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations, Dr. Newman.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you, President Benton, Dean Livingston, and I'd like to add my congratulations to our distinguished alumnus, Bernard Kinsey. I never heard about the chickens, but I'll remember it forever. Bernard, your career personifies one of Coach Wooden's favorite expressions. Make each day a masterpiece, and you've done that. I'd also like to extend a welcome to the Board of Regents, Board of Visitors, faculty, staff, and the real honorees of the day, our graduates, their families, and friends. All of you should feel deservedly proud of what these graduates have done. Truly a day to celebrate, a day for them to reflect not only on their careers, but the support and guidance they have received from all of you. I can assure you, graduates, that as your careers evolve, that this support group will become even more important for you with each passing year. Personal or career changes will happen. They'll be beyond your control. And it will be this support group that will help you either get through the difficulties or take better advantage of the opportunities. I went through 5 changes, all by external forces, from ages 36 to age 56. Fortunately, with each change, it was better for my employees, better for my family. I would not have had the chance to achieve what I have, sometimes working 24/7, but always putting my family first, if it wasn't for this support system. This support group is led by my #1 cheerleader of 53 years, my wife, Chris. My 3 terrific sons represented here today by my youngest, Dr. Kevin Newman. And all those mentors and friends who were part of that support group, particularly today, singled out Nancy and Bill Mortensen. To show you Bill Mortensen's love for the Miracle of Malibu, as well as his friendship for me, he's here today with an ankle he broke midweek last week. What I like about this class is most of you have already had experience in the workplace. I also did my master's in executive management while working full-time. I hope, therefore, that my comments today will resonate with you and as you think of the future. I want to warn you that Scott Hutton did not write my speech, but it sounds a lot what Scott said up here, and perhaps the difference, it does add my 55 years of experience to reinforce it. Also, I think what Bernard, you said, I must tell you, if I was speaking next week, I'd be copycatting him. I am a unique graduation speaker with 55 years experience, and yet still sometimes working 24/7. But I'm not too old to relate to what it was like when I was sitting out there where you are, pondering what the future will bring. I can assure you, based on my 50 years of executive management and serving on several corporate boards and institutions, that you should feel confident that if you can leverage your experiences to date and your academic experiences with making sure you continue having positive attitudes and also relying on the core values that you learned early in life from your parents and had reinforced here at Pepperdine. These core values are not just feel-good concepts. They are actually the most important takeaway from graduation. That's why Coach Wooden listed as his #1 important characteristic in his pyramid of success that good values attract good people. Graduating from Pepperdine also gives you a competitive edge over other graduates. All of you have run all kinds of models, all different case studies, been exposed to the latest technology. But the difference is Pepperdine has in its DNA the importance of good values. And it's these good values in the end that separates the great from the good and from those that don't make it. We just have to look back, as Scott said, to the last decade where we saw the demise of several Fortune 500 corporations, a global meltdown because of the absence of these values. I can also share with you how many people I've seen in businesses and institutions. They were the best on paper, but they didn't get the promotion because others were also good performers, but a little more diligent with, as Bernard said, the teamwork. Also, better attitudes, fewer personal hang-ups. They cared more about their colleagues. At AECOM, we coined a phrase that literally all 45,000 people know. It's called mutual respect and trust, MRT. Billionaire John Anderson, the namesake of the other great graduate school here in Los Angeles, passed away, unfortunately, a week ago Friday. In his obituary, he asked that it include what he felt was his #1 key element of his success. This was DTRT, do the right thing. Even Dolly Parton has her definition of MRT. The very talented, shapely country singer, granddaughter of a preacher, grew up in a cabin in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. No running water, no electricity. Today, she looks back and she says, my success was because I early on learned what I now teach all the kids I support through my foundation. Dream more, learn more, do more, care more. I think this is just great. And also highlighted for me how mentors do come in all shapes and sizes. The phrase MRT gelled for me about 25 years ago when Chris and I were monitoring a group of CEOs here from around the world. We were room jumping between 3 different lectures, one by Father Ted Hesburgh, president of Notre Dame, who was describing what it would take to make a better world, the commandant of West Point on what made the best officers, to professional sports winningest coach who described why his teams won championships beating others that had better players. It all came down to a common denominator of MRT. Sure, they used different words, different terms, but that's what it sounded like to me. You've heard what AECOM is today. It would have been no AECOM had it not been for mutual respect and trust between Ashland's management and also the behavior of the AECOM management and employees. Ashland had acquired our company in 1984 because they wanted to diversify out of the petrochemical business. Literally 3 years later, apropos change, 3 years later, they announced to us that now the analysts were telling them it was time to divest, re-engineer the business, go back to their core business of petrochemical. We did have the first opportunity of trying for an IPO, and Ashland and we tried hard, but it was 1987, 1988, and with those markets, there was no way it was going to happen. But Ashland told us not to worry, that they had bidders for all 6 companies that made up AECOM or ATC at that time. Fortunately, they agreed to accept an offer from us. Though our offer was not the highest bid, they accepted it. Why did they accept it? Our proposal highlighted the fact that our proposal would help all employees equally, not just management. Secondly, our proposal, there was a groundswell of enthusiasm from the employees. They were willing to take ownership. They could see how by creating better projects for their clients, it would create a better world, and in turn, give them personal pride as well as personal wealth. Key to all of this was that the proposal was also one where we took the risks of the business because we told them it was our business. In addition to these clear good values, our proposal did take longer than planned, literally 18 months. So it also took a heavy dose of what I refer to as the 3 Ps: persistence, patience, politeness. It was worth it. 21 years later, while creating numerous sustainable, environmentally sensitive projects on every continent, I wish it was planet, every continent in the world, our employees have also been able to accumulate more than $1 billion of personal wealth. For my family and me, we successfully completed what was my 5th transition in that 20 years, and it in turn led to 21 years of stable excitement. Ashland's management and ours, you can see, applied 2 of the key Graziadio Business School mission statement. We developed values-centered leaders. We affirmed a higher purpose for our business practice than the exclusive pursuit of shareholder wealth. Though I was the architect for this buyback, I would tell you at the time I had no more financial expertise than any of you would have. I had less. But I did know the company, I had confidence in the people, and apropos John Anderson, I knew I was doing the right thing. So I sort of got my MBA on the job. As many businesses and institutions are now consolidating, I think your futures will be affected by mergers and acquisitions if they haven't already been so. And for me, my first M&A was when I was 36, and a public company purchased one where I was a principal in it. My second change in my 20-year career happened literally within 6 months, when that parent company traded on the American Stock Exchange got into some issues. Their board of directors asked for me at 36, move to California, be the president, be the co-CEO. I must tell you at the time, what I knew about running a public company was my great aunt had given me 10 shares of IBM stock. I didn't even know where Wall Street was. However, I learned early on what was key to turning around the parent business was to divest many of the M&As they had undertaken in years before. From that lesson, I learned M&A is not about buying businesses, it's merging people. AECOM has practiced this, and over the last 21 years have had more than 25 strategic mergers. They are located all over the globe, different languages, different cultures. Almost all of them work. We've been almost flawless, yet you all know the hit rate's normally less than 50%. I don't tell you this to brag about our track record, but emphasize, don't just look at the numbers, look at the people. There's an old Chinese proverb that says, if you want to grow food for a year, plant seeds. If you want to grow food for 10 years, grow trees. If you want to grow food for 100 years, grow people. Now I'd like to turn to the point of Scott's comments about change. I can tell you that I have never been in a time during my 55-year timeline that have experienced anything like we're seeing today. Change is occurring at a rapid point, not just the global economy, which we all have been watching about. Think of what's happening in the social, political landscape of the world, as well as Scott points out, the advancements in technology. As an example, technical information is doubling every 2 years. So what we learned 2 years ago, half of it's now obsolete. Last year, most of the top 10 jobs in demand in the United States didn't even exist in 2004. Now, while these changes may be a challenge to understand, if properly managed, change usually brings many more opportunities for you. as it did for me. So this turbulent time could be great news for you graduates, particularly if you leverage your experience, your positive attitude, and those core values. You will develop opportunities you've yet to imagine. To help you with this quest, I would like to share my version of David Letterman and Bernard Kinsey's top 10 tidbits of advice for you. Number 10, be yourself, believe in yourself, but never put your self-interest before your enterprises. Number 9, think for yourself, but don't be afraid to ask for help. I still do. Number 8, continue to learn, and as your careers evolve, become a teacher also. Number 7, take time to reflect. If there's a downside of all this fast technology, is we don't have time to reflect. As an example, when you're running financial models, think conceptually what the answer is, so that when the output comes out, you know if there's a bust or a glitch in the formulas or the input. Number 6, as your careers evolve, hire people better than you. Develop them. That's the way you develop your fullest potential. Number 5, have a passion for what you do, especially the tasks you don't enjoy doing. Number 4, look at mentors at every opportunity. And those ideas you see from your colleagues or your bosses, don't complain about them, but if they're good, copycat them. If they're not good, practice MRT. Number 3, thank you. Number 3, thought my wife was over here. Number 3, practice those 3 Ps, persistence, politeness, patience. Number 2, change is inevitable. If you can manage yourself, manage it, it will be your biggest ally. And number 1, you can continue to work hard, working 24/7 as need be, and still placing your families first. Thank you. I know you'll all be very successful in your personal and careers, and it's now up to you and your families to create the kind of lives you desire. Focus on your potential, not your limitations. Remain hungry and humble, and you will achieve even more than you could believe today. Thank you very much for allowing me to be in this class.